Hi guys, welcome to this video in the series Java Tutorials for Beginners. In this video we're going to be looking at how to create a class, how to create constructors and methods, and basically explanations of these things. So from our last video we set up BlueJ and we set up a tutorials folder which is going to act as our workspace for all of our code. This was the tutorials window that we had last time. I'm just going to make it full screen. If you just go to new class on the left hand side, so we're going to create a new class now. A class in Java is basically something that is an entity of the application that you're creating. So if your application was about cars, you might have a car class, or you might have a particular part of that car being a class, perhaps a window or a wheel or something like that. So I'm just going to give this class a name. I'm going to be quite generic. I'm just going to call it my item. And also note that with a class name, it's convention that the first letter of each word is a capital letter, and you can't have any unusual characters in or anything like that. So, or spaces or anything like that. So leave the class type as class, click OK, and in the top left hand corner here you can see this orange box which represents the class. Double click on that and you'll be presented with a new window. This window represents the code for the class. So you can see here that there's already some code in it. This is kind of like a template to give you to help you out basically, but it's probably best at this stage if we just delete this and start from scratch. So just press Ctrl and A and delete. So now we've got kind of a blank canvas to work from. So, public class, my item, opening curly brace, leave some space, closing curly brace. So this is basically, this green box kind of basically represents the bounds of the class, my item. So anything within that green section is part of the class. So I'm going to explain these terms as well as we're going along. So this is basically the signature of the class. So it's the definition. It's public represents that the class is visible to other classes. Class is basically a Java reserved word to say that what follows is a class, and my item is the name of the class. And also note that it has to be written in the same way that we wrote it when we created the class. So I'm going to create a constructor now. So public my item, set of parentheses, opening curly brace, closing curly brace. So this is everything now that's within this yellow section here represents anything that's within the constructor, and the constructor is something that's called whenever this class is instantiated, whenever an object is created out of this class. So here all we need for the signature is public, the name of it, which has to be the same as the class name, and something a bit different is the set of parentheses, which basically mean that this is runnable. It is something that can actually be run. So let's now create a method, public int, and I'll explain this in a second, get price. So this is basically this is going to be an item that that has a price associated with it. Parentheses, opening curly brace, closing curly brace. So public int get price. This is the method header. So this is basically saying again public. It's something that's visible to others. It's something that can be accessed by other classes. Int represents what is going to be returned by this class. In this case, it's a variable of type int, and an int is an integer, in other words a whole number. And getPrice is the name of the method. Notice that with method names, the first letter of the first word should be lowercase, whereas here for classes it was uppercase, and everything other word after that should be uppercase. And again, parentheses, which indicate that it's runnable. Let's create another method now. So this time it's going to be public void. The void means that basically from this method nothing will be returned. as opposed to here when we had that an integer will be returned. We're going to call it set price. Parentheses, opening curly brace, closing curly brace. Right, so let's go back to this method then. Public int get price. So what's actually going to be... So what exactly is this method? This is also known as an accessor method. So this would be an accessor method, this would be a mutator method, because get price is accessing something. It's accessing a piece of information. It's accessing the state of a variable. Set price is going to change something. So it's a mutator method. It's going to change the object when it's created. It's going to change something about it. So what's a requirement then for an accessor method? We need to have return. A return means that basically means that something will be returned. Whatever follows from return will be returned. So if we have a variable called price, we need a semicolon because this is now a statement, because it's something that's within a method. So anything that's within a method is a statement. So every statement has to end with a semicolon. So this price, we haven't actually defined price anywhere. This is just, we've just written it. So what I'm going to do is declare a variable called price. And I'll explain more about variables in the next tutorial. So if we just write out private int price, semicolon. This is basically a field declaration. So this is a declaration price of type int, in other words, integer. What we're going to do here now is, as you can see from this accessor method that we were on before, it's going to now return price, which is this class variable. So that is representative of something that's an accessor. If we now go to set price, and what we want to do here is, instead of a return, because it's not going to return anything, it's only going to set something, so we're going to have a parameter for this method. So methods can have parameters. Methods can have some kind of when they're going to be called, they can say, right, I need something. You know, if you call in the method, then you need something with it. So in this case, we're going to say int input price. So for example, if this method was called, it'd have to be provided with a value of type int. In this case, input, we've called it input price. That's just an arbitrary name. You can call it whatever you want. So what I'm going to do below here is price equals input price. And this is basically saying that what's going to happen here is that whatever's passed through this parameter to input price, say for example if it was 10, then it would be passed from here, it'd be passed to here, and this is an assignment. So what happens in an assignment is that anything on the right hand side of the assignment is passed to the left hand side. So we'd have 10 going from here to here and being passed to price, and price is a class variable here. So now my item would have a price of 10. That basically explains the methods. One other thing as well with methods is that they don't have to be called get price. You know, they don't have to be called get something and set something. This is just an explanation of, in a broad sense, because you've got these two types of methods, getters and also known as getters and setters, so accessor and mutator methods. But the name of a method can be anything that's suitable to a function. For my item, then you could have get price, you could have remove item or something like that. So you could have anything really. I'm going to leave it there for this video. Thank you for watching, and if you did find the video useful, then please leave a like and subscribe.